Well, happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays with the Pilgrim. Today we continue our journey with Hopeful and Christian with Chapter 14. Chapter 14, Part 1. The Pilgrims are deceived. So they traveled on, with ignorance following along behind them, until they came to a place where another way joined the way they were on, and both ways seemed to lie as straight as the way they were supposed to go. They were confused, unsure which of the two ways to take, so they stopped there, wondering what to do. As they were thinking, a man wearing a white robe approached them and asked why they were standing there. They told him that they were going to the celestial city, but were confused as to which of the ways to take. "Follow me," said the man, "I'm going there." Impressed by his appearance, they followed him in the way that joined the way they had come on. That way gradually turned, and by degrees it turned them away from the city. In a short time their faces were turned in the opposite direction, but they continued to follow the man. Before they realized what was happening, the man had led them into a net. They got so tangled up in it, they didn't know what to do. At that, the white robe fell off the man's back, and they saw the error of their way. They lay there crying for some time because they didn't know how to free themselves. Eventually Christian said to Hopeful, "Now I can see that I am in error. Didn't the shepherds warn us to beware of the flatterers, those deceivers who give false hope and deceitful encouragement? They are able persuasively to entice the careless into following their ways. As the saying of the wise man goes, we have found that whoever flatters his neighbor is spreading a net for his feet." Then Hopeful said, "The shepherds also gave us instructions so that we wouldn't have trouble keeping to the way. But we were careless and forgot to read them, and therefore haven't kept ourselves from the destroyer's path. David was wiser than we are, for he said, quote, 'By the word of your lips I have kept away from the paths of the destroyer.'" Unquote. Chapter 14, Part 2. Encounter with the Shining One. So they lay there helpless in the net, crying over their captivity. At last they noticed a Shining One coming toward them with a whip in his hand. When he came to where they were, he asked them where they had come from and how they got there. They answered that they were poor pilgrims on their way to Zion, but they had been led out of their way by a man clothed in white who told them to follow him, because he was going there also. Then the Shining One with the whip said, "He is the flatterer, a false apostle, who has transformed himself into an angel of light." Then he tore the net and let them out, saying to them, "Follow me, so that I may lead you back to the way." So he led them back to the way which they had left to follow the flatterer. Then he asked them, "Where did you sleep last night?" "With the shepherds on the Delectable Mountains," they answered. He then asked them if the shepherds hadn't given them a sheet of directions to direct them on the way. "Yes," they answered. "But didn't you pull it out and read it when you were confused which way to go?" "No." "Why not?" "We forgot." "Didn't the shepherds warn you to beware of the flatterers?" "Yes, but we didn't imagine that this fine-speaking man was one." Then I saw in my dream that he commanded them to lie down, which they did, and he gave them a whipping to teach them the right way to walk. He said, 'Those whom I love I rebuke and discipline. So be earnest and repent.' This done, he sent them on their way, advising them to pay careful attention to the other directions given by the shepherds. So they thanked him for all his kindness and went carefully along the right way, singing, 'Now come here, you who walk along the way, see how the pilgrims fare who go astray. Taking lightly good counsel they forget, and are soon caught up in an entangling net. It's true they were rescued, but still you see, they're whipped to boot. Let this caution be.'" Chapter 14, Part 3. Meeting Atheist. Now after a while they could see someone far in the distance coming toward them. Christian said, "There is a man with his back toward Zion, and he's coming to meet us." "I see him," said Hopeful. "Let's be careful now. He may prove to be a flatterer also." So he drew nearer and nearer until at last he came to them. His name was Atheist, and he asked them where they were going. "We're going to the Mount Zion." At that, Atheist began to laugh uncontrollably. "Why are you laughing?" asked Christian. "Ha! Ignorant people like you make me laugh. You take upon yourselves such a tedious journey, only to end up in all likelihood with nothing but your travels for all your pains." "Why, sir," asked Christian, "don't you think we'll be received?" "Received? There is not such a place as you dream of in all this world." "But there is in the world to come. When I was at home in my own country, I heard about your belief, and afterward I decided to pursue it. I have been seeking the city for 20 years, but can find no more of it than I did on the first day I set out." "We have both heard and believe that there is such a place to be found," responded Christian. "If I hadn't believed when I was at home, I wouldn't have come this far to seek for it, but finding nothing, and I would have if there had been something, I am going back again and will seek to refresh myself with the things I formerly cast away for those vain hopes," said Atheist. Then Christian said to Hopeful, "Do you think what this man is saying is true?" "Be careful," replied Hopeful, "for he is one of the flatterers. Remember what this has cost us already for listening to this type of fellow." "What, no Mount Zion? Did we see the gate of the city from the Delectable Mountains? Aren't we now to walk by faith? Let's go on, lest the man with the whip overtake us again. You should have been the one to teach me this lesson, but I will whisper it in your ears. Stop listening to the teachings that contradict what you know is right. My brother, I say, stop listening to him, and let us believe, and thus secure the salvation of our souls." "My brother," said Christian, "I didn't ask the question because I doubted the truth of our belief, but to test you, and to draw out the fruit of integrity from your heart. As for this man, I know that he is blinded by the god of this world. Let us both go on, secure in the fact that we believe the truth, knowing that no lies come from the truth." Then Hopeful said, "Now I rejoice in my hope of seeing the glory of God." So they turned away from the man, and he went his way, laughing at them. And we'll end there for today, and next week we'll pick up with chapter 14, part 4, On the Enchanted Ground. Until then, take care, stay safe, and God bless.